Hey friends, I had the honor of speaking with Khoi Vo, CEO of ASID, about the power of connection and the role of community in our industry and why in-person events like ASID's national conference Gather matter so much more than ever, especially for small boutique design firms like ours. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did and that it leaves you inspired to keep showing up because the best business moves often start with just a simple conversation. Enjoy, friends. You're listening to the Six Figure Designer Podcast, where we ditch the overwhelm, attract better clients, and build a business that fits your life without chasing trends or burning out. I'm Pam Durkin, and right now I'm inviting you to join my free Rapid Referrals Challenge, a live 2-hour session where I show you exactly how to grow your design business by becoming the go-to designer everyone recommends. You'll walk away with a simple, repeatable referral system that you can use right away to change the quality of referrals you receive. Lisa said, Pam helped me get out of my own way, set clear goals, and shift how I show up in my network. I set a $300,000 income goal, and I'm already well on my way to hitting it. My promise? You'll leave with more clarity, more confidence, and a plan that actually gets results. Let's stop hoping for good clients and start attracting them on purpose. Now let's get started with this week's episode. The whole theme of the conference is about connection, and the history of where ASID has been and where we're going. Yeah. And I think the energy in the room is really inspirational. It's palpable. So what do you see for the connection, especially, near and dear to my heart are small businesses. So design firms that are 5 or less.
Yeah. Me too.
What do you see as ASID's bigger vision in the future for that connection as it relates to gathering?
I think connection is the key to success. And I think when we all can come together, we and move together, I think we're going to succeed. And so it's about relying on the people around us, right? I talk a lot about ecosystems. And it's about there's no, this idea of like everyone's insular. It's just not going to work. You have to be able to have a whole ecosystem around you. You have to be part of that ecosystem of somebody else.
Yeah.
And part of that is assembling this group together, but also then we have to connect with each other, use each other's strengths. I always say, play everyone's strength. Find out what you can give to someone. Find out what they have that are strengths that you don't have, and lean on them.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times business owners, they get nervous. They think it's only
They're an island, right? It's them.
and these problems are uniquely theirs.
Yeah.
And it's crippling. It's really crippling from how do I build? What happens when someone's not paying my invoice or I'm having trouble with a contractor? Well, guess what? You might think it's a really unique problem. It's not. It's a lot of other people are experiencing it.
Mhm.
And until we're able to connect with each other, use each other and to support each other, that's the only way we're going to succeed. So I think that's a real key for me. And honestly, a big focus for me is our small business. I was a small
I
business
love that. Yeah.
I was in that from practicing in Los Angeles and then going and moving all the way to Savannah and practicing there. I felt really alone. And I felt like, oh my gosh, all these things are happening only to me, and until I started to connect, until I used ASID's network. And then all of a sudden I saw a whole world of people that had same issues, challenges, but also opportunities. And I couldn't imagine a better group of people that just came out and were really supportive. I mean, there wasn't this kind of like, no, this is mine. I'm not going to share it. Everyone was like, I hear you. I had the same issues. Here's how I tackled it.
Right.
Or, hey, here's some great opportunities. You guys might want to look at this and that. And I hope that we can all do that very soon. I think that's what the association's doing. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right.
What's the point of belonging when you can't harness the power out there, work together?
Yeah. And I was telling someone it's sort of like the safe space And I think that as business owners, we forget because we're in our own, once we leave here, that feeling fades or all of that, you kind of go back to those old habits. So it's great to be reminded about here's the bubble, right? Here's the cocoon. Here's the safe space that we can come back to.
And I think the mentality that for me, again, I feel like there's plenty of business for everyone. And so we got to get out of that mentality of like, oh, I'm not going to help anyone because I want it all for myself. Hey, if that's the case, you probably have more work than you can ever do.
Right.
Why wouldn't you help others to build up? Because ultimately for us, it's about making sure people understand what the value and the power of design is.
Right.
Because if they do that and we get buy-in, that just means it's going to lift everything. Like, and we can get the outside of the design community to understand that, the potential clients of them, then that's when everyone wins, right? And if everyone's aware of that, there's going to be plenty of work for everybody. And that's when we all need to rely on the plans.
I also do think, to your point, like it's great that other people understand our value and that we communicate that. But I think internally, a lot of designers also struggle with what is the hard and fast, like what value can I impart to a potential customer to get them to understand why I'm part of the process, why I charge what I charge, why I need to be involved from beginning to end, ideally, because it makes it
a lot of that. We talk a lot about this idea of communication and marketing, right?
Yeah.
As part of an essential tool of business. I think
I've never heard a term that way before, but I really like that.
Well, and here's the thing. Unfortunately, at least in my experience, I end up inheriting people who come to me who finally understand the value of my service after they've had a bad experience.
Right? Yeah, they got burned, right?
They got burned or they screwed it up because they thought they could do it themselves.
Right.
And then they're in it. They've lost a lot of money. They've lost a lot of time. They're emotionally
afraid.
Yeah. They're timid. And unfortunately, that's when they go, oh my gosh, this is why we needed you in the first place. This is why we needed a designer in the first place.
Right.
And so we need to kind of jump ahead of that and find a way for everyone to understand. I mean, when you get sick, you don't go, I want to take care of myself, right? You immediately think, if I'm sick, I need to see a doctor.
Right.
Someone who's an expert at that. Why wouldn't you do that with a place something that surrounds you 24 hours a day, which is your home? Or your business or your office building or whatever it is, why are you not trusting
a professional
to do that, right? We don't question why you need a doctor. We don't question why we need a mechanic. Right. Why would we question why we would need an interior designer? And so I think that's a real driving force for us as an association to
bridge that gap, right?
To get that awareness out, because if we can, it's going to affect somebody in a small town to somebody in a big town, whoever those are that are practicing. And here's the thing. We're fighting for our members, but we're really fighting for the whole profession. If you're an ASID member or you're not, if you're a designer, we're trying to.
It's at a big crossroads in the next, 3 to 5 years. Yeah. So I know everyone's worried about it. So, but I think it's really encouraging. Just from what I've experienced so far, just the ideas, the inspiration, the dedication to the profession, the dedication to growth as an organization. So, and really, it's great.
We're dedicated to empowering our members. That's the most important thing for us. So we're constantly asking, my staff and I are always asking, if you were a member, hey, put yourself in the position, what type of member are you? And then what are the challenges that you would have? And then how could ASID provide that service or that product or whatever it is to meet your needs, to help that person succeed? Otherwise, how else are we going to prove our value?
Right.
I can't tell you to join ASID if I don't tell you
what you're going to get.
What you're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
And not just tell you, I've got to demonstrate it, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And then the challenge of trickling all that down to every individual chapter that has a little different spin on whatever's happening in each area of the country. I know it's a challenge.
Nuances in chapters.
There is.
And, but also nuances in the way clients perceive the value, right? I think certain clients in certain regions perceive it differently. And so how do we use our voice to amplify those values to everybody?
Right.
But also try to find ways to to kind of tell the compelling, nuanced story for this region, that region, and so forth. And that's when we need to work with champions. So,
I think it's teaching people how to fish, right?
Yeah.
Like we give you the core values, and then you can customize it for your own
I love
area.
Look, I'm a fisherman, so I'm like, so
Yes, let's teach people how to fish.
what lure are you going to use?
Yep.
What conditions are you in
Right.
right now? Right? What kind
Where
of fish?
are
What
you?
kind of
Is
fishes?
freshwater, saltwater?
Right. Right. Are you
Deep
on
sea?
a boat? Are you
Yeah.
by a lake? You know, like,
100%.
and you're right. It's about learn. You know, you designers are problem solvers.
Yeah.
And they're good problem solvers because they've learned the skills to solve problems. We need to give them those skills to help them succeed in business.
Yes.
And so,
I always say that we have that creativity innate in us and we apply it to our interiors, but now let's apply it to our sales and to our marketing because they have it all within them.
yeah, they do.
They're problem solvers, they're creative,
Yeah.
so they can really, they have the skills to do that. It's just, they just need a little help.
To your point, you know, when I was teaching, when I was a student, all that, what did we do? We taught our students how to sell their idea, their design ideas. Why are we not teaching them to sell that their service is of value to them?
Yes.
Why is it worth paying money for my service? Why should I as a designer be involved with your particular business?
Yeah. And as designers, we're lifelong learners. You know, we kind of get ourselves into, let me learn a new skill and let me get all these other things, but that's running the business. Let me be a better business owner, which I think is incredible. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. It was a pleasure to meet you.